List off in 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to Moving Right Along, the podcast by young writers for young writers. We're your hosts, Kat,
Ruby,
and Ray. And today our topic is social media and how it basically impacts writing and stuff. Today we are joined by our favorite writing Instagrammer, Cosette.
Hi everyone, I'm Cosette. You may have heard me on the 2-part season finale of season 1. I was very cool and fun on that, and then I also managed the social media for the Moving Right Along podcast, and I do happen to have a writing Instagram that I've had for almost 2 years now. The 2-year anniversary is coming up, so.
well, we're so happy to have you. We all love Cassette. Cassette's our BFF and our father, so just great time.
Incorrect.
Okay, well, Kat has a problem with that.
Right off the bat, okay. Setting the tone for this episode. I get
No,
it.
Cassette is fine. Cassette's me and Ray's BFF and father, if you would prefer it that way. Okay, but we figured a fun way to get this started is to play a little game. So, Kat, take it away with introducing the game.
So today we're going to be playing Is It Kotie's Instagram or Some Random Person, including other Pod Squad members. So what we're going to do is we're going to read out a bit about someone's Instagram, someone's post that they made, and Cassette has to guess whether it came from her Instagram or someone else's, maybe even someone in the Pod Squad. And she also gets extra points if she manages to guess whose Instagram it comes from. So there's a lot of pressure here because if she gets it wrong, I don't know if I'll ever trust her again.
Wow.
You already
okay.
don't trust me.
Okay.
Like, there's no loss here. You already don't trust me.
We're starting off
man,
this
so
episode
weird.
very antagonistic.
Yes,
This is gonna be a
yes.
peaceful
Always.
episode.
Okay, so first round question? What question? First question. Does your Instagram have the quote, "There's been a murder, bestie, a bad one"?
So no, I think my prediction is that comes from Ruby's account.
Yeah. That's true.
Listen, I know my favorite child, okay?
Oh my
I know exactly what she would say.
Stop it. You flatter me too much. Yeah. I was talking about like outlining, and this was directly from one of my outlines for my murder mystery. So it gives you a good idea of how my outlines really work. So yeah. Alright, so next question for you, Cassette. Did you diss Clary and Jace from the Mortal Instruments in a reel?
So not one that like I made, but I did post a TikTok once, like on my story, that was kind of shading them. And I think you might be talking about Simone's Instagram. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like I remember something like that coming from their Instagram. I don't know.
Yes, it did come from Simone's Instagram.
I feel like we've insulted Clary and Jace a lot on this podcast. No, I have. Sorry, Clary and Jace. Whoopsie.
Did you compare a YA book to a poorly decorated cake?
No. I literally have no idea. Was it from? Okay, I feel like it either came from Kat's Instagram or nope. Final answer. I'm locking myself in. It came from Kat's Instagram.
You have disappointed me, Cassette, and you will now be thrown into the pit. I'm afraid
Okay.
it actually came from Lee Wright's Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So...
I was gonna say that, but then
then you didn't.
Sure.
Sorry, Lee, if you're listening to this, I'm a fake fan. I'm sorry.
That's actually quite nice, the fact that you thought I could have written like something that Lee writes, right? So, I'm a little bit like, please, yeah, that's a compliment, but still disappointed you didn't know. Very disappointed. Anyways,
sorry. Yeah. I'll read up.
Okay.
I'm gonna memorize every single one of your posts now.
That's slightly creepy, but I'm here for it. It's support. So, next question. Did you caption a post? Let's curse the government for not using our taxes to fill plot holes with more cement.
Yes, I did, and I was very proud of that caption whenever I did it.
Yes, you did.
I
What a
don't even
reference.
remember what post that was. Does anyone remember
Oh my
what post that
gosh.
was?
I was the one that found this, and I honestly don't know. I just stole the caption and was like, oh, that's funny. And then I was
It
gone.
was definitely an old
So,
one. Like,
it was a very old one. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
scrolling and scrolling. I wanted to throw you off. But yes, you did do that. And that brings me back to 2015, that song reference. What a song, though. That's a good song. Okay. Next one. Did you once say a chapter a day keeps the writer's block away?
I'm pretty sure I did. Yes.
Yes, you did.
Okay. I'm a very quotable person. I have lots of words
Yeah.
that I say, and so like
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 they're bad, but like there's always that one diamond in the rough. Just works out.
Mm-hmm. I see you like wordplay, you know. So, like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
you.
very good. Great work.
Thank you so much.
Did you claim Shakespeare wrote the equivalent of Marvel movies?
No? Do you mean like his work is like compared to Marvel? Like
That's all you're getting. Did you claim that? Was that you?
I don't think
Cassette?
Did you
well,
do
I'm
it?
gonna say no because I don't even know what
Did you
he's
make that
saying,
bold
really.
statement? Okay, who do you think did make it?
I feel like it was I'm getting Ruby vibes. I don't know why. Either Ruby or maybe Kat. I don't know.
Okay, you get one guess. Take your pick.
You lock it in. Just know that
Well,
whatever you decide, it decides the future.
Oh my gosh.
I'm locking it in with Ruby.
I'm sorry.
Cassette?
That is not a Ruby quote.
Cassette, you disappointed me again.
Oh
It
man.
was Kat.
When do I ever
said
not
that.
disappoint you? You said that?
Kat
said
is
that.
the Shakespeare person. Come
Yeah,
on.
I just bring up
Sorry,
Shakespeare
yes.
at any point I can. And what I meant by that, by the way, because it is quite a bold statement, is that because Shakespeare plays were very popular, it's like the equivalent of how popular like Marvel movies are today. So you shouldn't like be mean about popular things. I think that's what I said.
Next. Did you or did you not write a guide to daggers?
Well, yes. It was like might have been called a guide to daggers, but it was more like a guide to like blades. Like I don't know if they were all daggers, really.
That's like
To be
10 times
honest.
better than just daggers, though.
No, characters gotta have diverse. Last one. Did you caption a post? Burn, Mr. Status Quo. Burn.
I'm gonna say no. It feels everything just feels like a Ruby quote. I don't know why. Don't ask me
Ruby is
why.
a
Take
very
up so much
quotable
space in your
person.
brain. Take
You
a
do,
lot of
you-
space in your brain.
You occupy a lot of
Ru-
space.
It's Ray's quote.
It's
It
Ray!
was mine.
It's
Ru-
Ray.
No, okay, I need to explain myself, okay? Otherwise my parents are gonna come for me. It was the title of a short story I wrote, okay? That's on my Instagram. Please don't read it.
I'm gonna go read it right
Don't.
now, actually.
No!
Yeah, actually, this episode is now a live reading of Burn, Mr.
Yeah,
Status Quo.
it's just me reading it. Oh my god.
I'll literally leave. I'll leave right now.
We're kidding. We're kidding, Ray. We're just being goofy. We're just being our goofy selves.
You're just in a silly, goofy mood.
It's just so silly and goofy.
Guys, it's time to get serious, and what's the opposite of goofy? Serious and I don't know. Serious and grim. We're getting serious and grim, guys.
Oh.
Because well, not really grim. It's time to ask some questions about about Writergram, which is the real reason we invited Cassette on here today. Because I think all of us here have writing. Yeah, we do all have Writergram accounts because we literally just. I just had a. What's wrong with me? We literally just used both of everyone's Writergram accounts. So yes, all the hosts here have little Writergram accounts, and what we want to do is learn from Cassette because Cassette has a very big Writergram account. It's very good. It's amazing. It's
Okay.
spectacular.
Powerful.
I don't know know if I consider it very big, but
I
Big.
It
It's
is.
bigger than ours, so it's big.
it is
Bigger
a
than
bigger
ours,
account,
true.
but I don't know. I don't think it's very big. Let's just clarify. I need to seem humble for the people at home. Okay.
Yeah. Make them think you're humble. People like humble people. Cozy.writes is an influencer.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You literally have like 5,000 followers.
exactly.
That's
So
Four and a
Solid.
half to be exact.
keep your little mouth
Oh.
shut, but also open to answer our
Oh my
questions.
gosh, Kat.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's move on to the questions, guys.
Okay, listen, I'm slightly ill at the moment. I'm just in
just
like a
ask
little
the
fever
question.
dream. Okay, it's all
Okay.
nonsense coming out of here.
Okay.
Okay,
Start with
so
let's go questions.
Yes, I want to ask a question. Is there a difference between writing an Instagram for the podcast, because that is what Cassette does, is she runs it for this podcast. Exactly. I'm moving right along podcast if you guys want to go follow us. Versus your writing account. Is there a difference between running the Instagrams of those two accounts or not? Tell us.
Yes, there's actually. I think there is actually a very large difference, and the main difference that I can think of right this very second is that with like my Instagram account, I don't do it for like anyone else. No one else is depending on me to like run that account. But like with the Moving Right Along account, I can't just like decide that I'm gonna go on a month-long hiatus. Like that's not something that I can just like do, which is fine. It's just like that is a big difference. And then there's also the difference of like the type of content that I make, because for the Moving Right Along account, it's like advertisement and like building a brand and supporting the podcast, whereas my personal account is like that is my content and that is what I'm supporting. So like the podcast is a separate entity to the Instagram, whereas my personal writing tips Instagram is like that is all I have. Like so it's just like a difference in where I put content and the content that I make.
That was a good answer. That was a great answer.
no, it was a
Thank
really
you.
good answer.
We loved it.
A lot, if you go on like Instagram, just Instagram in general, honestly, a huge thing with posting is like to stay consistent. Like if you ask probably any writing Instagrammer, they'll tell you like, oh, you need to stay consistent with posts because like that's how the algorithm works or whatever. I don't know. So I'm really bad at this, and a lot of people are. So do you have any tips for staying consistent with posting?
This is a bad time to ask me because I am on a month-long hiatus.
It's okay.
But when I'm not on okay, actually, no. This is a great time to ask me because the biggest piece of advice that I can give on staying consistent is to know when you don't need to be consistent. Like, honestly, this month I could have had a post because I post 3 times a week, right? So I do have a schedule where I post on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And like occasionally I'll do a reel on Saturday or just like whenever I feel like it. But the thing about it is that you need to know when you need to step away in order to stay consistent. It sounds like an oxymoron. It sounds very contradictory. But that is what it boils down to. Because like if you work yourself to the bone and you're like posting every single day, and that's great that some people can post every single day. More power to them. I tried it, couldn't do it. Like you need to understand that in order to put out content, you have to know when you can't put out content. And I don't know a better way to describe it. Like if I had better thoughts in my brain, I would say them, but I don't. So take what resonates and leave the rest with that.
Oh, that's really good advice, honestly. I'm not a frequent poster. I accidentally disappear for a few weeks every now and then, but you know what? It's okay. Yeah, I know that something that I've heard before in the writing community, a fear that people have that will prevent them from joining writer Instagram is plagiarism, and people just plagiarizing their posts. And I wanted to ask if you've ever been plagiarized on one of your posts, and if you have, how you dealt with it.
So not technically. But okay, there are 3 different scenarios I'm thinking of right now. The first one was a joke where I was messaging Lee Writes and I said, Lee, what if I just started drama with you? And then I was like, I would definitely lose that battle, but I think it'd be funny. And then I posted on my story and I was like, Lee Writes, or a bigger account, plagiarized me, and then I like tagged Lee in it, and she was like,
Oh my gosh.
what is this? And then like literally I posted right after, like the next story was like, I'm just kidding, like plagiarism is a real thing, but like this didn't actually happen. I was just trying to start fake drama because it's a long story anyway. But basically I posted that and people like thought I was being serious, so I had to make like several other story posts clarifying that I was not being serious. And then Lee like reposted on her story, so that was kind of funny. There was also another time where a different account, I don't remember the name of the account, but a different account reached out to me and asked if they could repost something I made, and they did. And they left like my credit slide in, and they tagged me on like the last slide, but they didn't tag me in the caption or anything. And so I had a mutual reach out to me, and they were like, "Hey, I think this account just like took your post and didn't give credit." And so I had to be like, "Oh no, they asked me. It's okay. It's like at the end." That happened. They thought someone thought I was getting plagiarized, but I wasn't actually. And then when I first started my account, I didn't really post my own writing tips. I like reposted like Tumblr writing tips and stuff like that because that's how everyone gets their start, like writing Instagram. At least back in 2020 when I was doing it. But I reposted something and I like blurred out a word or something because I didn't used to have like cuss words on my Instagram. And I blurred it out in a specific way where I could like tell that I blurred it out. And then I think 2 days later, I like saw a screenshot of the post where I blurred out the word on someone else's account. And I wasn't like mad because that wasn't my post like to begin with. Like I credited the original poster in the caption, but it wasn't my post to begin with. But then I was like, oh, they just like screenshotted my post and then reposted it, and they got like twice as many likes as I got. And I was like, okay, this is fine. So nobody's like ever specifically plagiarized me that I know of. And if you're listening to this right now and you have plagiarized me and I didn't know about it, I'll find out. I'm coming for you.
We're coming as well.
entire
All moving right
squad.
along. We'll be coming
We'll
for
find
you.
you.
Just be
We'll roll up.
aware.
We'll
And
take
we
you
are
down.
scary.
And we'll
Your
take you
eyes
We
are
out.
are a
open.
shiny exterior. We're kind of crazy. Don't worry about it.
Throw a hand.
Don't plagiarize. Just don't plagiarize.
No.
Don't plagiarize. I think I got plagiarized once.
What?
I can't remember.
No,
I think so.
no.
I don't
Drop
really
the
remember.
act.
I'm
Drop
trying to
the
remember.
handle.
I think I did end up like messaging them, or they messaged me or something. I can't even remember. It was a while ago. I remember being confused about something and being like, is this plagiarism or is it not plagiarism? Well, it wasn't plagiarism. I think they did give me credit. Okay, it was confusing. Anyways, that one just went off on a tangent. Anyways, how do you manage your time with your writing Instagram? Because as someone who also has a writing account, it's hard to manage your time with it because it just, you got to remember to do it. And yeah, so how do you manage your time? How do you do it? Give us your ways.
I honestly don't think I'm the best person to ask for this. Like, okay, here's my thing. I have a writing account and it exists. Am I doing it well? Debatable. So it's like I said, you have to know when to take breaks, but then like also I'm gonna pretend like I'm not on a hiatus, and I'm gonna say that like when I'm making posts, a lot of times there are things that I'm already researching for like my work in progress, for just like in my free time. So that's really helpful when it comes to like managing my time, because I don't necessarily have to set aside specific time for like that type of research, because it's either something I already know or it's something that I already am looking into. So that's like the creation part of posts. But then when it comes to like, there's not really anything else I do. Like when I post on my stories and stuff, it's just kind of like whenever I have free time in the day and stuff like that. So it's just whenever I have free time. And I have a hierarchy of things in my life that are important. So like the first thing is school, and then the second thing is like the organizations I'm a part of, and then the third thing is like, I guess myself. That one up in the air. But then like the
Why are you third?
Yeah.
No, let's just back up. We can stop recording for a second. Why are you third?
Hey, therapy session
Why
time.
are you third? You should
You
not
should
be
be
third. You
first.
should
Let me
be
clarify.
first.
Let me clarify. Whenever I meant by myself, I meant like taking time to do like social things, like hanging out with my friends, or like talking on the phone to people. Because like when I take care of like the school stuff and the organizations I'm a part of, that's like part of taking care of myself, because that's stuff I find important in my life. So by myself, I mean like social time or just like free time or like stuff like that. And then my Instagram account kind of goes into that, but it's also probably like the fourth thing that I'm worried. Like I'm not as worried about it as anything else. So it's just prioritizing and like chunking out everything in your life and making sure that you are like mentally, physically, like all your well-being is taken care of first before anything else.
Isn't there bouncer position?
I was ready to fight you.
please don't look at me in your bouncer position.
So, if someone wanted to start a writing Instagram account, but they didn't really know how because it's very tricky, what would your advice be to them?
So whenever people ask me this question, my first piece of advice is always just to do it. To just send it and just go for it and just pick a username and make the account and put a profile picture. And then my second piece of advice is always to start getting connected with other people in the community. So like, I mean, I've met some of my best friends through my writing Instagram, and like honestly, these people are so important to me now, and I never thought they would be like in the long run. But when you get connected to other people in the community, even the people you don't become like super best friends with, they're still like your mutuals, and you still have that level of respect for each other's content. And so like you'll get reposts from like your friends without having to ask for them, or like you'll get tagged in stories and stuff like that. And it's just building that community and like kind of putting yourself out there is a really important part of starting a writing account. And you don't need to start with any specific goal in mind also. Because when I started my writing account, I actually started it just so I could share like my own writing, but I honestly don't do that anymore really. So no, you don't have to start with a specific goal, and it can always change over time, but honestly just start it, just jump into the water. Don't look, close your eyes, it's gonna be scary, but just like jump in.
That's great advice. I can verify. Cassette was there when I made my account, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And she was like, do it. Do it right now. Do it.
Yeah.
So it was very helpful, though, because then I made it. So very good advice. But what is your best advice for somebody who maybe wants to grow their account?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I think my account grew just out of luck. I wish I could tell you specifically what I did. I wish I could give you like an exact formula. I think just staying consistent with your posting. And then the thing that like really grew my account was posting reels, which I honestly didn't really know how to use until I like posted like 2 of them, and then all of a sudden they started like blowing up, quote unquote, for lack of a better term. And then that was like a huge thing. But reels and like interactive content, so like those think as writers type posts, those are always fun, and they get, you know, if engagement is what you're looking for and shares and stuff are what you're looking for, which is important to growth, but like whatever. So just like stuff like that, stuff people can interact with, stuff people can relate to, and yeah, exciting things and exciting content. And honestly, if you like the content you're making, it'll show and people will like it. So
my question is, do you plan your posts beforehand? And how do you plan them? And can I have your plans? And can I just come along and see you plan your posts? Can I just be in your house watching you plan posts?
That spiraled so fast.
That took a weird turn.
I'm not totally sure how to answer this because I feel like she's like a vampire where if I say yes, like she'll just come into my house and
Yeah.
soul or something like that. So that's a little concerning.
You know how you're like on the web camera right now? You turn around and it's just like me in the background.
My door starts opening and I just turn around.
Oh my god.
Yeah, anyway, the actual question is, do you plan your posts? Yeah.
To answer one of your questions, yes, I do plan my posts. I am a resident plotter. Can I get a high five from all my plotters in the audience?
Yeah!
Ooh.
It's me and Cassette
Yeah.
against the world.
It is us. This is why Ruby's
Sounds
my
good.
favorite child.
Thank you.
We're
My
both
favorite
plotters.
dad, besides my real dad.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate it.
My favorite, not actually my dad.
Okay, I'm gonna keep answering the question now, if that's okay.
You do that.
I do plan my posts. I write down like the dates that I'm going to be posting it. So if I'm posting on April 5th, I'll write like 4 or 5, and then next to it, I'll put the title of the post that I'm going to do. Then I'll under it, if it's like a post I have to actually write stuff out in, then I write all that stuff out. Or if it's just like a reel or something, then I'll just put like in parentheses reel. so I know. And I keep all of that on a Google Doc. It's called like 22 posts. It's a very creative name. It took me a very long time to come up with it. Very hard for it. But yeah, I do plan my posts. Was there another part of that question, or was it just Kat wanting to come into my home?
You got it.
just
You
that-
got it.
Actually, something I want to ask actually is how far ahead do you plan your posts?
Mm.
Like, do you have a plan for like 10 years time? Do you have a 10-year plan? That's the question.
Oh my
Well, I do
gosh,
have a
Kat, all
10-year
your
plan,
questions
but
are taking a turn.
not for my
Why?
posts, no. I did at the beginning of this year, I planned out posts up until like April, like the end of April. Just kind of also depends on how many thoughts I have in my brain, because right now it's head empty, no thoughts. Like if I have a bunch of ideas, yes, I do plan them pretty far in advance when I have the time. Other than that though, it's just like whatever happens.
Thank you. Can I now come into your house?
I'm gonna stick with no for right now. Maybe ask me again in a couple days, and I'll get back to you. Like 3 to 4 business days, please, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, sure.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
So anyways, you mentioned before that one of your favorite things about like your Writergram account is some of the people that you've met through it. So who are some of the best and your favorite people that you've met? No pressure.
Probably my most favorite people are the team from the Dead Writer Society. I really love all of them so much. They're probably my most favorite people ever. And I guess like y'all are like,
I swear.
You've got some mo to get in here.
oh, Simone. No, I actually said this. Okay, subtle plug for myself because I'm cool, and this is this is my episode. I also did an episode over on the Dead Writer Society podcast, and in it, I talk about how the Moving Right Along podcast is my first love, and so I love all of you guys. You guys are some of the best people I've met with my writing account. I just start crying, get all weepy about it. But you're all my favorites. And then shout out to my girl Amber. Amber's WIPs, I think is what, I don't know how to say that. Amber's whips. Yeah, she's great. She was one of the first people I met on like writing Instagram and just like really connected with. And then also Abby, Chronicles of Abby is what their name is now. I'm pretty sure they changed their username recently. Also one of my BFFs. Really, like, I feel like I can talk to them about anything. They're so great. There's tons of other people that I've met off of writing Instagram, and I just, like I said, no thoughts, head empty. But literally, like, if we've ever had a conversation, I love you, you're my best friend ever. Just kidding. You're not.
Oh. Okay.
Cut me off. Someone cut me off.
Yeah, okay, you're cut off. You're cut off.
Nah, I'm gonna give you that one. That was a good save because you said the Dead Writer Society, and I was about to be like, you're plugging your other podcast in this podcast. So that was a good save.
This is the declaration of war, guys.
Good job.
You're
against
kidding.
the Dead Writer
We
Society.
Literally,
No,
the
this is
entire
not a
episode.
war.
This is war.
It's war.
No,
Entire
I
episode
We
about
have
challenge the Dead Writer Society to
about
come
how
on
much
this
I love
podcast.
No,
So
Guys,
guys,
check out
let's
Clyde.
not fight them. Dead Writer Society, if you're listening, we love
No.
you and appreciate.
No.
Okay, I love you and appreciate you.
We love you. We just want to
But
destroy
sorry,
you.
we have Cozy's heart.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's us. We are number one.
We
Sorry.
You really are. You're number one in my heart
Yeah.
forever and always.
Yeah, Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, we know. Good save. So another question for you is, how important do you think originality is when it comes to what you want to post on your writing Instagram account?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a very hard question to answer because there's always like the discussion of like, well, everything's been said before. So really nothing you say is original. But I think as long as you're taking your own take on it, like making your own spin on it, it is original. Like if you've written it and these are your thoughts from your brain, then I consider that your original advice. Because like I've done posts on, everything under the sun probably. I've done posts about things like writing multiple points of view and like how to outline a document. And those aren't original concepts. Like there are 100 other writing accounts that have done that type of content, but like because it's a post that I wrote, that's like my original content. And I think it is important to understand that aspect of it.
Cassette, tell me, do you ever get disappointed when a post doesn't do as well as you hoped?
Yes. And I wish I didn't, because at the end of the day, like I try and tell myself that it just depends on if I like the content I'm making. But it is disheartening to see posts that I thought were going to do well, or posts that I spent a lot of time on not get the numbers I'm looking for, which sounds so superficial, but like it is what it is. And you know, Instagram is like also just a toxic place in general, because you see like all these other accounts doing so well and all these other accounts thriving, and it's like your post doesn't do as well. You have to kind of wonder, like, is it what I said? Is it the time of day I posted? Is it my theme? Is my theme ugly? Do people just not want to hear from me anymore? Like, it's hard to not let it affect your like self-esteem, but it can, which is why take breaks, go on month-long hiatuses, take a chill pill sometimes. Just calm down.
Yeah, we could all use a chill pill.
Yeah.
Okay. And on that note, talking about the sort of numbers and performance aspect of social media, how do you personally avoid getting fixated on those numbers?
So something I had to do just for like myself in my piece was I had to unfollow a lot of accounts that I just didn't interact with, or I didn't know like we weren't mutuals, like I didn't know them very well, you know, yada yada yada. Which I can understand how that would be upsetting to someone, like if I followed them and then all of a sudden I just like chose to unfollow them. But also, like, no one's obligated to follow me, and I don't feel like I'm obligated to follow anyone else. And I think that helps because you don't see as many posts a day, and so there's not as many numbers to like compare yourself to. And another thing that helps is just knowing that you are on your own journey, and even though it does, you know, affect you seeing other accounts blow up, again using that term because I don't have a better term, but seeing other accounts like blow up or doing really well is going to be disappointing. But it's not the only thing that defines you. Like, you can do so many things outside of that, and there you do have a support system, and there are always going to be people who enjoy your content. And it doesn't really matter, the numbers, at the end of the day. It's cool. The numbers are cool. I'm not saying I'm ungrateful, but it's not the only thing in my life that I focus on.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really like that. I have a little something to add, but I think that's really important, like not comparing yourself to other writers especially, but just in general too. Like, it's much easier said than done. But like, if like okay, Ruby, I'm gonna use you as an example, but it's a nice example, so don't worry. Like, when we first started kind of Kat, why did you just shake your head?
Just use Ruby as an example, huh? I don't even know what it's for.
Disapprove.
Sorry. Anyway, sorry. Please just ignore me. I'm in a funny mood today. Just carry on.
Kat woke up and chose violence. Kat is having a day.
So
Yeah.
true.
Just ignore me, Ray. You know that I'm all just nonsense. Yeah, just ignore me.
That's fair enough. So when we were first kind of like starting the podcast, we were all kind of talking about our writing, and Ruby has written a lot of a lot of novels. And at first, when I heard that, I was kind of like critical on myself, like, oh my god, like I've never even finished one single term project. But like, Cassette, you mentioned like not comparing yourself to others because you're all on like unique paths. And for me, it was sort of realizing that like, we're in such different stages of our writing. Like, Ruby's how old are you? 16?
Yeah,
17?
I'm almost 17.
I don't even know if you're
Not quite
comfortable with
there.
saying that in here. Please
No, you're
don't.
good. You're good. I'm 16.
Okay. And
I said it
I'm
before.
14, so we're very far apart. You've been writing for I don't even know how long, in a
Wow.
year. So that's kind of a really big difference to be comparing yourself to. And I really agree with what, because, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, self-comparison is like kind of like the death of self-esteem, honestly, because like everybody does like move at their own pace and at their own and everybody has their own like unique ways that they can contribute, especially, to the writing community, but also, Ray has so much amazing like knowledge on things like screenwriting and oh my gosh, the word's flash fiction, right? I'm so flash fiction. My brain was like, that's wrong, but no, it's right. And
It
like
is.
those are mediums that I know like nothing about. So even if like maybe I've been writing longer, it doesn't mean that I have like more to contribute or anything like that. And I think that applies to the writing Instagram community as well, just because everybody's gonna write in their own way, and I think that that's a really special aspect of the writing community. But yeah.
I will say, like, I'm kind of old. I'm not like that old. I'm 19, going on 20.
I'm older than you, Cassette.
I
Don't
know.
say that you're old. You're making me
I
feel
mean,
old.
I meant in the writing community, I'm kind of old. Like, everyone in the writing community is like
Shut
What?
15, 16. Didn't really matter. But like, I've been writing for I've been writing for over a decade now, and I still don't know like where to start a story. And I admire that about so many people. Like Ruby, that's a flex, but like Ruby like let me read her novel, so like I got to take a look at that. It was kind of really good, but like you knew exactly where to start the story. Like you understand where to start. I still don't. I've written literally like multiple full manuscripts and I don't know what I'm doing. Like and it all just comes down to like understanding that everyone's gonna have strengths, weaknesses, like no one's perfect all of the time, or really any of the time.
Well, I will say, because if it makes you feel any better, I completely started that story in the wrong place and had to completely rewrite the whole beginning. So we all have our things. I got so much advice that was like, yeah, this is not the right place, Ruby. So
Yeah, I was about to just start singing. I think Nobody's Perfect from Hannah Montana by saying everyone makes
Do
mistakes.
it!
Everybody has those days.
Serenade
Also,
us.
at the end of the day, guys, the only number that's important is that you're number one in my heart.
Oh, okay. This was
Okie dokie.
wow.
Never gonna happen for Ruby, but
Don't remind me.
I love how when
Scars,
Cassette says
battle
that,
scars.
everyone goes like, ah, and when I say it, everyone's like,
no, because it's
When you say
weird
someone's
coming
number
from
one
you.
in your heart, you mean they're number one on your hit list. Like you're not saying it with kind
Whoa!
intent. You're saying it to be evil and malignant.
I'm lowering you to false sense of security. Come on,
No.
guys.
Exactly.
Well, Cassette, you also are known for, in my opinion, and probably many, many people's opinions, your account has really good aesthetics, really just aesthetically pleasing. So we wanted to ask, how do you come up with your themes?
Oh no. So okay, I kind of started talking about this earlier. I base my theme around I love a good theme, all right? And I like basing them around like the month, the holiday. I used to do a lot of like holiday based themes, like my Halloween theme. I had a Christmas theme at some point. They're probably all archived right now because I ended up not liking them in the long run, but it was really fun while I was doing it. And then my most recent theme, well, yes, that one. Okay, let me try again. My themes for 2022 so far have been based around like my own work. So my January theme was based off of one of my OCs. My February theme was also based off of one of my OCs. My January, February, March. My March theme again is based off of one of my OCs, except I didn't finish it. So it doesn't really exist right now. And then my April theme is not based off of any of my OCs. It's just like city. So it's just really whatever I like doing or what I'm feeling at the time. I associate it with like that month. That's when I do it. And I know some people just do themes for like however long they feel like doing the theme, but I like to keep my themes like in a month. I don't know why. It's just I like structuring things. So
I have a question to add on to that before we carry on to the next one. Do you think people need themes in their writing account? Because I personally don't use themes, even though I haven't posted online in forever. But do you think they can like add to the count or like take away if you don't have them? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think. Okay, so I think they do add to an account, but I don't think they take away specifically. Like, I think your account is good if it's good. Doesn't really matter if you have like a quote unquote aesthetic theme or like a good theme. But if you have a theme that a lot of people like, you probably will see a bigger increase in numbers. Like it's just how the cookie crumbles. You definitely don't need a theme. Like your account isn't going to be lacking if you don't have a theme. It's just like having a theme will add that extra layer of like engagement and people looking at your account and stuff like that.
Fair enough. Okay. For our last question, do you have any writing accounts you recommend people to follow besides cozy.writes, which you should definitely go follow?
I recommend you follow cozy.writes. I also recommend that you follow the Moving Right Along podcast Instagram if you haven't already. You should go sprint and do that really fast, very quickly. I also recommend, I have a few people here who I think would like to plug their Instagram accounts. So I would like for all of you to recommend your own accounts.
Yeah. My account. This is so awkward. Okay, my account is at Ruby Teresa Writes. If you go to Moving Right Along Podcasts following, you will find it there. That'll save you some time. So there you go.
Why do you sound like you're being held at gunpoint?
I feel like I am.
Pretty much am.
It's okay.
Oh.
Mine is Ray dot and then an underscore and then another dot. V spelled VEE.
Oh,
Cat?
right. Sorry.
Cat?
Mine is Let the Right One In, spelled WRITE. Like let the right one in. But I think you could also find it if you look up Cat Bador as well. So, yeah.
You know, actually find all of our Instagrams if you look up the Moving Right Along podcast following. Like you just go there.
Yeah,
all
you
of
can
us are
find
there.
us.
Follow all of those accounts.
Just do all of them.
Yeah.
And also like
Follow.
the people I mentioned earlier, my besties, Amber's WIPs, and then Lee Writes, and then Chronicles of Abby, and also obviously some other ones. I can't think of them all right now. But if you like, you know, just follow me. I will plug them multiple times. So if you follow me, you will get to everyone else. Don't fret.
Don't fret.
Follow me. I'm just kidding.
Set commands.
Follow her.
Do it! So, for our little writing prompt for today, we want you to go follow and find those writing accounts, and also just, accounts that give advice or posts you appreciate and encourage them. The writing community is one that should support and build up each other instead of focusing on stupid numbers and things. So, supporting those writing accounts is a great way to do that.
Yes, and of course, we are so thankful for Cassette joining us today.
Cassette.
Woo! We're a
Thank you for
Cassette fan
having
club.
me.
Of course, we're a
stop.
Cassette fan
Y'all.
club at Moving Right
Sure,
Along.
don't come
and
back.
You know you can come back, Cassette.
I'm
Okay.
kidding. I
Cassette
love you.
will
I'm
be back.
kidding.
If you
I'm
enjoyed
actually
what you
kidding.
heard today, Cassette will be back.
And if you liked what you heard today, you should go rate us.
Yes, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps us a lot. And please give us 5 stars. Otherwise, Cassette will come find you.
Yes.
You don't have to give us 5 stars.
You
It would be nice
should.
if you did, because it'll make us smile, and that's
Cat,
nice.
Cat's just a sick little child, okay? You don't
Needed
want
it. Cat
to
needs
help
it.
us.
Every 5-star review is a prayer for Cat.
Oh my gosh.
I put a sick Victorian waif.
Oh my gosh.
Lisa, can I have some
Let's wrap this
stars?
Okay, let's wrap this up, guys. Let's wrap this up.
Okay. Whew. And until next time, writing cadets. Sorry. Give me a second. Until next time, writing cadets. We'll see you on our next adventure.
Okay, we did it.
I'm not going to bed now.
Thank you for listening to the Moving Right Along podcast, made possible by the Young Writers Initiative. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at Moving Right Along Podcast or find us on tywi.org. And while you're on the website, why not check out our Discord server, The Writer's Town? Thank you to our team without whom this wouldn't be possible. A like, Simone. A comment, Jasmine. And subscribe, Cassette. All music is by Kevin MacLeod at filmmusic.io. Today you heard Beauty Flow, and all sound effects are from the Free Sound Project.